Hello, everyone. So, today I'm going to be talking about Mississauga, which is one of the suburbs in the Greater Toronto area. So, if you are a new immigrant, or you've been in Canada for some time, or you have just received your PR status and you're looking to move to Canada, watch this video till the end as I'm covering everything you need to know about this particular amazing suburb called Mississauga. Now, to give you guys all some perspective, the Greater Toronto Area, which is GTA for short, comprises of all of these different regions. Okay, and each of these regions have multiple different suburbs that we will be discussing in our suburb series. And now we're going to be discussing Mississauga, which comes under the Peel region. Now, if you are looking for information as to where should I live in Mississauga, what are the recommended neighborhoods, what are the schools, what are the best schools, whether it be elementary, middle school, or high school, depending on the age of your children, where is it that I could rent a nice place to live, if it's a 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and the different kinds of accommodations, like what's the difference between a condominium versus an apartment, or a detached and a semi-detached. Where do I go for shopping if I'm looking for ethnic grocery stores like Indian grocery stores or Polish or Korean? Where do I go? What are the recreational activities that I could put my kids in? Are there any parks, trails in Mississauga? Any restaurants that you would recommend? Anything like this. If you're looking for this kind of information, this video is definitely going to be helpful for you. So please watch till the end. And if you have not done so already, please subscribe to my channel and like this video so it motivates me to keep making such awesome content to present to you. Now, before we get started, I'm going to share a few highlights about Mississauga that you most definitely should know. The first one being, Mississauga can be anything from 25 minutes to about 45 minutes to downtown Toronto. Okay, if you are driving, it's about 30 to 35 minutes. If you're taking the GO bus, depending on where you are taking the GO bus from within Mississauga, it could take up to 45 minutes for you to go downtown. Now in Canada, at least in Toronto, anything under an hour is excellent for commute. There are 9 different GO train and bus stations across Mississauga. So depending on where you live in Mississauga, you will be at least just about 5 to maybe 7 minutes away from a GO train station or a bus station, which is fantastic. Now, Mississauga is home to the Pearson International Airport, which is one of the largest airports in the world. We also have the Credit Valley Hospital in Mississauga, which is one of the best hospitals that anyone can go to. Job prospects in many, many key sectors. There are a lot of startup companies coming up in Mississauga as well, but anything related to IT, finance, biomedical, automotive, education, food and beverage, pharmaceutical. So if you're in any of these industries, Mississauga could be a place for you to live. It is also an amazing education hub. The University of Toronto Mississauga campus is in Mississauga, and the Sheridan College is in the city center. And this is in addition to all of the other different colleges that are present in Mississauga. The best part about Mississauga is it's a vibrant mix of culture. So people from all over the world are deciding to move to Mississauga. So that gives you and your children the diversity that you need. So people from India, Pakistan, China, Poland, Portugal, Jamaica, Philippines, UK, and you name it. A lot of people are moving in from the US as well. And they are all coming in to live in Mississauga because of everything that Mississauga has to offer. Now, every suburb like Mississauga has different neighborhoods, or they call it communities, okay, like the ones that I've mentioned here. Now, each community, like Central Eden Mills, Streetsville, Churchill Meadows, they are significantly different from each other. Sometimes you find that the communities are neighboring each other. Like, for example, from the map, you can see East Credit and Hurontario are neighboring each other, but they are significantly different in terms of what they can offer. The schools are different, the amenities are different. What you're looking for is very different. So depending on what the needs of your family are, some people look at it strictly from a school perspective. So they identify a school first that they like for their children. And based on that school boundary, they pick a community or a neighborhood and they look for houses for rent in that community. They look for all amenities in that community for their kids. For some people, school may not be a consideration. It could be, say, I don't want to drive a car, so I need to be close to a bus line. So that could be a consideration. I want to rely on public transport. So depending on what your needs are, what your expectations are each of these neighborhoods or communities will offer what you are looking for in Mississauga. So just take a look at the list that I have mentioned here. So if you are able to just narrow down your search on some of these neighborhoods, depending on your needs, you should definitely be in a good spot for a place to rent or for a place to live in Mississauga. So condominium in general are buildings which is a little bit of an upscale building that has the washer and dryer in your unit itself. Okay, it has all these amazing amenities. It has a gym, it has a party room, it has the swimming pool. It has everything that you need, so you don't need to really go out of your condominium for many things. And they also typically have these shops just in the ground floor level of the condominium, so you can quickly go grab some groceries and stuff. So that it's slightly more expensive to rent a condominium. It's called a condo for short. Okay, so one bedroom condo, anything between 1800 to 1950 per month. Now you have to remember that sometimes you will have to pay hydro on top of this. Now hydro means electricity. So for a one bedroom apartment, which is about 600 to 650 square feet, you're looking at about $50 to $55 per month that you will be paying on electricity, depending on how many lights you have on at all times. There are some buildings that even charge for heat and water, so you need to really watch out for that as well. So for two bedrooms is anything between 2100 to 2300. Now there is a range in price because it depends on the kind of building you choose, depends on the area you choose to live. So if it's right in the city center, it may be a bit more expensive. If you're going a little bit away from the city center, it may be a little bit cheaper. And three bedrooms are 2400 to 2650. Now apartments are similar to condominium. When I say that, I mean they are still buildings, but they are managed by a property management company. So you're not now dealing with individual condo owners. So you are dealing with a property management company that will ask for all your documents, and they will figure out if you are a good, suitable tenant for the units available for rent. Okay, and they do not have the washer and the dryer en suite, which is inside the unit. They typically have it in the basement. So they have this common washer and dryer where you'll have to take all your clothes down to the basement to get it washed. And they typically have outdoor parking. And I forgot to mention it earlier that the condominiums have indoor underground parking. So the apartments, obviously, for these reasons, are slightly less expensive. One bedroom is 1200 to 1450, two bedrooms 1500 to 1700, and three bedrooms 1800 to 2100. Again, it depends on where these buildings are located. Definitely some buildings are a lot more well kept compared to some of the others in some subsidized areas. So depending on what you're looking for, if you're just looking to save some money and really making sure that you're getting settled in faster, then an apartment might be the right choice for you. But if you're looking for a bit more upscale, then condominium is your choice. Now, if you're one of those people who hate tall buildings and you don't like to be up there and you are scared of heights, then maybe renting a house could be an option. Now, there are three different kinds of houses that you could rent. How do you know which one to choose? So one is the detached, okay, where the house stands on its own. It's definitely a lot expensive to rent a detached property because detached properties are a lot more expensive to buy as well. And the second is the semi-detached. It's just like a detached, but just one side of the wall is being shared with another owner. So you've got two houses, okay, attached to each other. It's a detached. It's a semi-detached, sorry. The third is a townhouse where you've got a row of houses that are attached to each other. So you've got the wall sharing on both sides, left and right, unless you have an end unit, in which case it's almost like a semi-detached then. So how do you choose which type of a property to go rent for yourself and the family? The way I look at it is this, once you get into the property, sometimes there is a townhouse, there are townhouses that are much larger than actually a detached. So it's really a mind game when it comes to all this, okay? There are townhouses available which are 2,500 square feet, which has a beautiful backyard. And once you get into the property, you don't even realize you're in a townhouse. So the fact that you think both the sides of the walls are being shared, all of that goes out of the window, because you see that it's so open and spacious on the inside. But then again, you have to understand that townhouses are definitely a lot cheaper to rent. So if you were going to go for a 3 bedroom townhouse versus a 3 bedroom detached, you have a difference of at least about $400 to $500 a month, which could be pretty substantial when you're looking to save money when you are new in Canada. That you do need a bigger space because you have a large family, you've got kids, and they need space to run around and all that. You should consider townhouses or even semi-detached as opposed to a detached. But then again, you may have a lot of different reasons for why you would consider detached, and that could be a very good option as well. Maybe because the neighborhood that you're looking to rent in, because the school that you like only has more detached options or than semi-detached or townhouses, then you can definitely look into the detached as well. Every community or neighborhood that we discussed earlier has their own community centers. Now, these community centers are amazing because they have a fitness studio, they have yoga studios, they have Zumba classes, they have swimming pools, swim lessons for adults and children, squash lessons, you name it. These community centers pretty much covers all of these different interests for everybody in their own neighborhood. Now, in addition to that, if you don't care for the swimming pool in the community center, you can go out and there are these private pools that offer swim lessons as well. There are these splash pads, which really is a water park for children where they can go have fun in the summer. And each neighborhood has a ton of these splash pads. There is the celebration square. As you can see, there's a ton of people just sitting there. So depending on whether it's winter, fall, summer, spring, doesn't matter. There's always something happening in the celebration square, which is right in the city center. There are these food stalls that happen there, which is amazing. There are bowling alleys in Mississauga. There are these indoor trampoline parks. There are amazing trails that you could go on hikes in Mississauga itself. You don't even have to leave Mississauga to go find a trail. If you're into hikes, there are cinema theaters where you could go watch movies. They even play some of the ethnic movies, which is great, like Indian movies, for example. There's also the Living Arts Center, which is great for kids as well. They have these pottery classes and they have these art classes for children. They are into drama, so they have all these shows that they put on once in a while. So overall, Mississauga sort of has something to offer for everybody depending on your interests. In addition to the mainstream grocery stores like the Loblaws, No Frills, Food Basics, Metro, there are so many different ethnic grocery stores in Mississauga. And if I were to make a video on just ethnic grocery stores, I guess it would take all day. That's how many there are. I'm not kidding. Whether it be Indian or West Indian or Chinese or Middle Eastern, Polish, Korean, there are all kinds of ethnic grocery stores in Mississauga itself. You don't even need to go anywhere looking for specific foods from your culture. So as you can see in the picture, the one that I would highly recommend is Sabzi Mandi that is in Mississauga. There is also the Asian Food Center. There is the Dundas Fruits and Vegetables. There is Mr. India Grocers. So like I said, each of these, ethnic grocery stores, there are so many. I just had to pick one just for, example purposes, but you don't really need to bring anything from where you are moving from. Okay, whether it's be from India or Poland or anywhere you're moving from, just come here, pack your bags with all the stuff that actually matters, and don't put stuff in like, pickles and whatever you need that you think you may not get it here, because you get everything here. It's because remember I told you Mississauga is a vibrant mix of culture. So we have people from all over the world in Mississauga. So all of these grocery stores cater to the needs of all of us. So, just come here and you will find what you are looking for that will make you feel close to home. Now, this is a topic that my clients ask me all the time about the different schools that they could consider for their child. I would say any of the schools that I've mentioned in this list here, it's a pretty safe choice for you, whether they are in elementary, middle school, or high school. So anything that I've mentioned here, just go ahead and make the choice, again, based on the neighborhood where you're able to find a nice home to rent or buy as well. Now, I'm going to be making another video that talks about the difference between public schools versus private. So if you really haven't done already, I would please ask you to like this video and subscribe so you get notified when I make consecutive videos about schools and really talking about the French immersion side of the program as well. So all of these schools, they are a combination. Some are just French immersion, some are a combination of regular and French immersion. So you'll have to take into consideration these aspects before you pick a school. But at least this gives you an idea about some of the names that you could go ahead and do your research on. There is also called something called the Fraser rating, FRASER. So you can go ahead and check the rating for these schools on the Fraser rating scale. Now, most of these elementary schools sometimes don't have the Fraser rating, so don't fret. Like an amazing school like Credit Valley Public School, for example, doesn't even have a Fraser rating. Doesn't mean it's a bad school. It's a fantastic school in an excellent location. But the Fraser rating just gives you a very broad understanding as to what these schools are all about and how kids have done in their grade 3 and grade 6 and grade 9. So that kind of gives you a bit of an indication there. So hopefully you found this video useful. And if you have any questions, please leave a comment below. I am going to answer all questions that comes to me that's on this video. So please leave me a comment and I will definitely get back to you with my answers.